I wrote a very big simulation engine. Even I wrote the complete Excel table, just the table finished. Can you imagine? Yeah. So it was so big. I'm not very glad that I have to sell this product to the traders. That's why I decided to make free products.
Miroslav Popov, the developer of the EA Studio, FSB Pro, Express Generator, and many more online applications for algo trading.
And even in the beginning, there was no strategy tester in the MetaTrader.
My team found somewhere that the first generator you invented in the early 2000s used AI.
It was strategies was crazy. Almost all trades were profitable. And I started algo trading with this strategy, and I make some losses. But when I make a backtest,
it shows profits.
I started making this simulation because I found it was not possible to make analysis by looking only in the chart, to make a paper trading, so just to mark the
This
deals.
is very wrong.
Another rule is to be difficult to enter to position and easy to go out.
Particularly when it comes to expert advisors, having AI, is it practical? Can AI be part of expert advisor to make it more profitable, or is it just a marketing tool nowadays? And I noticed something really interesting. Over 70% of you, the most active viewers to this channel, are not subscribed. So if you want to support our work, my team and the whole community, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. This will really help us talk to more people in the niche of algo trading, and I really thank you for that. Miro, before we start, I want to say a huge thank you from myself, our team, and the whole community for everything you have done through the years and for all the work you've put in the last 25 years. And it's not only that you've built great apps for algo trading, but because you've been a great person to everybody. Every time we needed you and we contacted you, you were very open, very responsive, not like most of the people we talk to. Some are very arrogant, others are thinking only about the business, while you are always there to help. You're always there to respond in a very nice way, and I really want to thank you for everything you have done.
Thank you, Petko.
Your products not only helped me to quit my 9-to-5 job, but your products also taught me how expert advisors work, like FSB in the beginning and then EA Studio. Without those products, without those pieces of software, it was gonna be really impossible for me to understand how expert advisors work, because when you purchase expert advisor from the marketplace, you don't know how the strategy works behind, you don't know anything. But your products are very transparent, you see the strategy, you see everything. So before we get to the products, can you tell me, how did you start? How did you come up to building the most popular products in the algo trading and the strategy builders niche?
First, thank you for using the products, and thank you for liking the products. It was a very interesting story for me, and I'm doing this because I really like it. But in the beginning, it was just from curiosity. I started about 2000, and a friend of mine who is now a bank manager, he told me about the trading, and I was very interested. And also he gave me some books for stock market and how they trade in the Chicago and Frankfurt. I read this book and immediately opened a demo account. It was about 2000, it was dial-up internet, and I opened this Saxo Bank. It was a trading platform, but only for manual trading. There was no algo trading at that time, at least in Bulgaria. It was before MetaTrader, but it was possible to put indicators, to open positions, to put market orders or pending orders, stop loss, take profit. And at that time I found very interesting books. And if I may say something for these books, they really helped me. The one was Trading Chaos by Bill Williams, I think it's 1985. And the other book was Trading Encyclopedia by Nyman. It was about 2001. And I read in that book about the indicators, Japanese candlesticks, Elliott waves. But how to say, I read in the books and I try to trade, but I really don't understand what is the connection between indicator and the market. And immediately I started writing simulations. The first I started writing in Excel, and I wrote the prices manually in the table and start calculating moving averages and MACD and RSI and other indicators. And it was really fast. So I may say that I started with algo trading and simulation and backtesting in 2000.
So there was no MetaTrader at this moment. So you started creating strategies and simulations for algo trading without MetaTrader at that point.
Yeah, I think MetaTrader 4 was released in 2005. And I started in 2001, I think. There was some versions before, MetaTrader 1, 2, and 3, but they were not popular. The first one was MetaTrader 4, and even in the beginning, there was no strategy tester in the MetaTrader. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, we call now strategy tester and strategy backtesting, but they were called system testers. There was not such thing like Forex strategy or trading strategy. Mm-hmm. This was the name I chose for my product, Forex Strategy Builder, because I didn't want to name it Forex System Builder. Mm-hmm. And since then, this term became popular.
And my team found somewhere that the first generator you invented in the early 2000s used AI. Well, AI became popular now in 2020 or 2025. It got really popular. And your generator used AI about 20 years ago. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, of course. But this is nothing special because now AI is very fancy word. Mm-hmm. But actually there is a much boring word for that, and it's called statistics. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I think AI was invented and used 18th century. And then with the first computers, they opened a laboratory in the United States for researching. There was different methods for AI. It was called machine learning before. And generally, these are methods for optimizations. But if you allow me to introduce you and the users to backtesting and why it was necessary. Mm-hmm. Actually, I used machine learning and the other algorithms, and I may explain why it was necessary and why it's not necessary now.
Okay, yeah, that will be quite interesting because our subscribers and viewers ask about AI robots all the time, just because, as you said, it's fancy word and many of the vendors use it as a marketing tool, not because it's something that will actually make the strategy more profitable or not. Do you find AI nowadays to have some kind of role in trading, like positive role in trading?
I'm not sure for trading, but for studying is excellent because what I'm doing, I found for myself, instead of searching something in Google, I ask some of the AI, and it makes me resume, and it's much easier. But this is a branch of AI called a language model, and it is very useful, but it's not connected with trading. If you go a little bit deeper, we don't have definition for artificial, and we don't have definition for intelligence. My strap is also artificial intelligence. Yeah. Why? Because the mouse enter and buy the cheese and it's catched, so it acts automatically.
Okay. So you say AI is useful for learning. So if you're a young developer and you want to learn about coding and
about
MQL,
everything,
you can learn and use AI. Yeah. But particularly when it comes to expert advisors, having AI, is it practical? Can AI be part of expert advisor to make it more profitable, or is it just a marketing tool nowadays?
It can be helpful if the user writes MQL, which is the programming language of MetaTrader. Mm-hmm. AI understands the MQL syntaxes because the programming language has strict rules. It's much easier to understand programming than the natural human language because it's more concrete. So if you write MQL programming manually, AI is helpful because it can correct programming mistakes or make suggestions. Okay. But it doesn't have any sense for trading or for the purpose of the program. It's just makes syntaxes correct.
Okay, so it's more useful for the developers or for the traders who want to build EAs themselves, trading robots themselves. Yeah. But for the users who purchase expert advisors, it doesn't really.
Actually, there's no connection at all.
Okay.
So because the AI doesn't understand the purpose, it is just statistics. If you start writing or asking for something, it searches for similar code words or programming and puts this programming code, but doesn't understand the purpose. Actually, it is not difficult to understand how it works, and if you start understanding, you will be shocked how it's not intelligent at all. This is just statistics. There is no purpose. It doesn't understand the meaning at all.
Okay. And if we go back to the early 2000s when you started, did you develop the first software for your personal usage, or you had commercial purpose of selling it and making a business out of it?
I never had a business purpose for the products. In the beginning, I created it just to understand how the market works. And now probably it is not for my usage. It is more like a research tool, like analytical instruments to understand what is going on. And later, it became a complete system that I used. And that's why I decided to share with other traders. But it was free for many years, I think 14 years.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
You've launched the FSB at the beginning for free, or was there another product prior to FSB?
When I started in the beginning, it was just for me. As I said, I started in Excel because there were some problems. So let's explain what are the problems, and then I explain why the tools are looking in that way now. It's all in the beginning. So imagine you trade manually and you have to make trading decisions. But how to make? You may trade by intuition, but anyway you need some sources of making decisions. It can maybe technical indicators or some comments or some financial events, or political events. But anyway, let's take the simplest. If you look at indicators, it is very difficult to make it right. I say that it is not good to say to anyone that it's making wrong, but imagine the simplest thing. Let's have moving average and the price. And let's say the price is a little bit above moving average. And some of the simplest rules, if the price goes from below to above, we may buy. And when the price goes below the moving average, we may sell. The price is a little bit above moving average. And let's be on 4-hour time chart or 1 day, it doesn't matter. Imagine the price going down and crossing moving average. Then we should open a short position to sell. But imagine after several minutes the price comes back above moving average and the bar closes above moving average. And what will happen? We open short position because the prices go below moving average. But in the end of the day, we have the price above. So it's misleading. When you watch the historical bars, you see why I had open a short position, but the price open above moving average, causes above moving average. Yeah, it is called repainting. And even if you speak about the price, you may see the candles, the low price of the candle will be below moving average for a moment. You may think, okay, the price was going below, you open the position, but then return back. And you can see it. But imagine you trade two indicators. For example, moving average crossover. You have faster and slow moving average, and during the bar they cross and then return back. And you have position. But after that, when you look in the historical bars, you will not see this crossing at all.
Yeah.
So it is very dangerous. Even I was in that trap, and I was real money about, I created a strategy about other indicators. It is very popular now. It still is dangerous. It is called Fibonacci levels, and it's based on zigzag. And I created a strategy with the first generator. It was about 2005. Strategy was crazy. Almost all trades were profitable. And I started algo trading with this strategy, and I make some losses. But when I make a backtest,
it shows profits.
Exactly. Yeah. And took me weeks to understand what is going on. Yeah. And do you know, I found that and explained in my forum, and also market this indicator as dangerous and only for demo testing. But the trader continued using it. Even after that, I removed from the program, and the trader wanted, and I explained that it's wrong and it brings losses. And they found custom indicators to replace this.
So, yeah, I had very similar situation with the zigzag back in times when I was working for one trading institution. So the chief trader there asked me to execute the strategy manually with the zigzag. And when I was doing it every time, it turned into losses. But he was looking back in the charts. There was no algo trading, manual trading. And he was upset with me because he said you were doing it wrong. Because, when you look at the charts, it shows it should be exactly the bottom, the top, but it's actually repeating. That's the first time I realized that repeating issue with the indicators. And it's not actually only with zigzag. With zigzag is most visible that it's repeating, right? But even moving averages, even what you said, the price might go down and above, at the end of the day you will not see, because the moving average is repeating after the price. And it's really misleading, and it's a lot of YouTubers, a lot of educators are showing strategies on the chart back in history, but that's nothing to do with the reality.
That's why I started making this simulation, because I found it was not possible to make analysis by looking only in the chart, to make a paper trading, so just to mark the
this
deals.
Is very wrong, yeah.
So first I started in Excel. It was programming language integrated in Excel. It is called Visual Basic. I wrote a very big simulation engine. Even I wrote the complete Excel table, just the table finished. Can you imagine? Yeah. So it was so big because the whole historical data were there. And let's return back to the artificial intelligence. It was a very modern day genetic algorithms. And I use these genetic algorithms for optimization of the strategies. I have two profitable strategies, and I combine these strategies and take some of the indicators of one of the strategy, another from the other strategy, and make some modifications of the parameters. And it was complete failure. So it was very short experiment. But other stuff, it is called machine learning. It is like when the program works, it collects some data. For example, if you trade, let's say on euro-dollar, and you will see which indicators participate in these strategies for the most profitable strategies. And we make statistics for the most used indicators. And I integrated such a machine learning algorithm in Forex Strategy Builder Professional. So it makes a database of the usage, and when the generator starts, the indicators that are more profitable, that they used in more profitable strategies, has a higher chance to participate in the strategy. But it appeared that most of the strategies became almost equal. Yeah, it was not good. So what I did, when you run the generator, first it started with these machine learning indicators, and when it makes 2-3 strategies, slowly reduce the chance to take such indicators, and they started in the usual way. So machine learning is used only for the first several strategies, just to receive faster the first ones.
And you've mentioned FSB Pro, Forex Strategy Builder Professional. So the first version was free for everybody, and then you've made a Pro version, which is still usable. Like, it's one of the programs I use the most, and I still like it for plenty of reasons, but maybe we can get into the details later. What made you upgrade it to a professional version? I remember once we spoke and you said that initially there were no expert advisors, right? You were sending signals from FSB to MetaTrader, and then you created the expert advisors. You developed the expert advisors so the user can actually download from FSB Pro expert advisors and put them on MetaTrader. Is that after MetaTrader was getting popular? When did this happen, and what was the reason doing that?
So it was not the only reason. Actually, it was not the reason at all, because in the first release of MetaTrader, I really didn't like how MetaTrader works, how it calculates the indicators and the parameters. So I created a very different system. The indicators has different parameters. Even some indicator has different formulas. And Forex Strategy Builder was not compatible with MetaTrader. It was never intended to be a market product for business. And this answer to your question. Actually, it was completely different. How I use it? I used the Forex Strategy Builder to generate strategies and to understand how the indicators works. And then I mostly traded manually at that time, just follow the rules that I found with Forex Strategy Builder. So you had the program generating strategies like inspiration, or to give you an idea where the good entry is, and you were executing it manually. Then I created another product called Forex Strategy Trader. This product was able to take strategies for Forex Strategy Builder, and it was connected with MetaTrader. But MetaTrader was like a bridge. So MetaTrader gives prices to Forex Strategy Trader. Forex Strategy Trader calculates the strategies and returns back signals to MetaTrader.
Okay.
So it was like to subscribe to signals, to third-party signals. This was good. The traders like this. Then I introduced the generator. I think I invented the generator in 2005. I say invented because I don't know for such an instrument before. I think even now there are very few strategies.
Yeah, I believe just the recent years there were a few more websites and apps that try to make generators.
Yeah,
but when I first met you, and it was quite interesting how we met. It was a kind of a solution for one of my problems. Was exactly what you said first about the repeating indicator. So I realized I need something to actually tell me, did this event in the history happened or not? And then I was working for another company and we were hiring developers, and it was really hard to automate strategies. So first I bought the FSB Pro. Then I realized you were actually also in Bulgaria, and that's the first time I contacted you after using the FSB Pro for some time. And actually FSB Pro at this time helped me to automate many of the strategies into expert advisors, but most importantly to prove to the traders from this company that their manual strategies were wrong, because they were asking for impossible stuff like the zigzag, making it a profitable expert advisor, which I believe is nearly impossible because of its repeating problem. But to get to the core of how you developed it, which programming languages did you use to build pieces of software like FSB Pro and later EA Studio?
Several languages are used. So I first started with Excel, which is the most popular programming language in the world. Everyone uses Excel, or before. After that, I started in C and C++. And the first simulation I did was in the terminal without user interface. After that, I decided to make user interface of the program to be able to see the charts and the indicators. And I started using C#, which is a Microsoft language, because Forex Strategy Builder works on the Windows. And the reason is that MetaTrader is working on Windows. I was using Linux before, but just because of MetaTrader, I will stick to Windows and develop Forex Strategy Builder. Then, of course, MQL is used because the MQL is the language of MetaTrader. There are two versions of MQL, MQL4 for MetaTrader 4 and MQL5 for MetaTrader 5. But it is very interesting. Just yesterday, I saw something very strange. They removed MQL4 help guide from MetaTrader 4. It's very strange. Just Meta quotes, probably they decided finally to stop supporting MQL4. I don't know. In MetaTrader 4.
And because you've been through the entire time when MetaTrader was developed, it was MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5. Why did they added MetaTrader 5? What was the reason of launching another platform when there was already MetaTrader 4?
Yeah, it is natural evolution. MetaTrader 4 was more limited. MetaTrader 5 was complete rebuild of the program. It was similar program, but actually it's completely new. Many people think that MetaTrader 5 is upgraded version of MetaTrader 4, but actually it's not. It is capable to be connected with more markets. The language is much better. The program can load historical data. You can export files. You can make network connections. Actually, it's a complete system, and you can do everything with MetaTrader 5. But how it happens? MetaTrader 4 was introduced in 2005 and MetaTrader 5 in 2010. But no one uses MetaTrader 5 for many years.
As far as I know, at the beginning it was meant only for stock trading.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it was different rules, only netting accounts. There was no possible to hedge. I mean, to open opposite positions. We have only one position. And it was not compatible with Forex Strategy Builder. So when I started making Forex Strategy Builder professional, I have many ideas in mind. First thing is the backtesting engine was more powerful. Actually, there are 5 backtesting engines in Forex Strategy Builder. Because, yeah, it was crazy. It was very difficult to make correct backtesting. Forex Strategy Builder professional, you can open several strategies in the program with several tabs. It has multi-trading. So you can, when you generate a strategy, you can use several cores of your computer. It has this machine learning, the artificial intelligence. And finally, it was possible to export expert advisors, which I was thinking that will be crucial. It will be a very big change, because imagine we have a program for a strategy builder. You can export a strategist for a strategy trader and connect to MetaTrader, but without expert advisors. And then with the improving of MKO language, it was possible to connect. Okay. But this problem still exists. For a strategy builder works in different way than MetaTrader. How I make it? So I implemented the Forex Strategy Builder engine in MQL. And when you export expert advisor from Forex Strategy Builder, actually you have a stripped version of Forex Strategy Builder inside. And yeah, and it works the same principle. Get quotations from MetaTrader and rises signals for trading. And that's why the Forex Strategy Builder robots are very big. They have 5,000-6,000 lines of code, and they're slow for backtesting. So that's why I started from the zero for another product.
For EA Studio.
EA Studio, exactly.
Yeah. I remember when I started, it was only FSB, and then was FSB Pro, and then was EA Studio. But it was really advanced program. Most of the features were really unknown for me. And I remember when I recorded the first course using FSB Pro, I called you many times to ask you about the different features, because they were just too many, like really advanced program, and you can build so many different expert advisors. You can build expert advisors on different time frames to execute on M1, but to have a filter on M15 and H1. And I believe until the moment there is no other such software or builder that allows you all of that. But what was your idea of building EA Studio? Was it to make a simpler version of FSB Pro, or you wanted to have a product that will be just faster and at the same time to give the same results as FSB Pro? Because in my eyes, EA Studio is the faster version, the easier version. As much as a content creator, for me, it's just much easier to create content and videos and strategies for myself using EA Studio, because it's just easier to explain, right? While FSB Pro was really more advanced. And that's why until the moment when our viewers and subscribers ask us, I'm telling them, if you want to create EAs faster, just use EA Studio. But if you want to create more in-depth strategy with more filters, with more indicators out of the range of MetaTrader, then use FSB Pro. So what was the reason you created actually simpler strategy builder, if we can call it this way? And was it only the reason to make it faster generator with faster backtest?
I didn't have a concrete purpose with that. Just it was experiment in the beginning, but I just wanted to test something. So let's explain a little bit about the structure of the strategy, because I am thinking this is something probably the most important thing I found. Mm-hmm. So we say about repainting and moving average crossover. So if you trade on moving average crossover, the moving average make crossover during the bar, mm-hmm. inside the bar. It's not in the beginning or the end of the bar. So the signal happens inside the bar. And the Forex Strategy Builder was capable to simulate these events. It was different than MetaTrader 4, because it was possible to set option for backtesting on ticks. But actually these are not real ticks, these are fabricated ticks.
And MetaTrader
4, yeah, exactly. So I make several simulations, different routes of the price inside the bar, how to simulate this. And it was very complex backtesting. And finally, we trade in the end of the bar, not in the middle of the bar. It was possible, but we never sure what exactly happened with the prices. Because when the bar opens and you have low and high price, the price, of course, it moves to the lowest points and to the highest. But if you see a bar, the lowest and the highest are above and below each other, but they are not happening at the same time. Either low is before the high or the high is before the low, but we never know which one is it.
Okay.
So Forex Strategy Builder makes this simulation, and it was a very complex process. And finally, I decided to test what will happen if I trade only in the beginning of the bar. See the indicators, what happens during the bar and see the actual positions of the indicators at the end of the bar and open position at the beginning.
Which we've discussed with you before in a previous video. That's usually with the Forex is the same point. Right?
Exactly.
Nearly the same point.
Absolutely.
The closing with the opening.
Actually, I say absolutely the same, but if I can deviate to explain. So when the bar are plotted when you have ticks, but we can have ticks either on bid price or on ask price. Usually when you see the charts, they are plotted now on bid price only. Bid and ask, this is the spread, the difference between the two. But we can have a tick on the ask price, and the next point may be the same. So actually there are no bars in the world, in the universe. This is just compression algorithm, because we don't have all points. We just separate. In the beginning, they started with daily bars. They publish in the newspapers the prices for the previous days. It was only the close price. Then they started making the lowest and the highest, and they started putting the open price. And the problem, when they do that for the stock market in the United States, but the market closes at 5 o'clock in the evening and opens at 9 o'clock in the morning. And during this time, the price may change, and there is a gap between the previous closing and the open. But in the Forex market, there is no closing during the week. So just when the round clock happens, it started the next bar. So there is no any difference. Even it doesn't matter if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour chart. This is just continuation. It may happen gap, but this is just the tick. Yeah. So it is.
It's
actually
the same.
one
It's the
tick.
same.
Yeah. It is the same.
I remember when I started, and that was another thing I learned from your programs like FSB Pro, because as you said, closing is the most popular. How the bar closed, how the day closed, and initially I wanted to build EAs that will take the signal at the closing of the bar, but then I realized it's nearly the same with the opening. And now with MetaTrader 5 as a backtesting modeling, it is the option of open bars only, right? Not only closing bars.
Yeah, open
prices only.
Yeah,
open prices
actually,
only.
what happens when you have closing of the bar? Is it the last second of the bar or the last 5 seconds? We never know. Because when you happen the closing and you see the indicators and we calculate the signal and you send the signal, it's already the opening of the next bar. So what we do with EA Studio, we calculate the indicators on the closing of the previous bar and we execute on the opening of the next bar.
And here we should mention the sponsor of today's video, 8cap. Many brokers offer different platforms like MetaTrader, TradingView, CTrader, DXTrade, but the most suitable platform for algorithmic trading is MetaTrader. And 8cap is one of the brokers we've been using successfully to trade with expert advisors. So I'll leave the link down below in the description if you want to test the broker on a demo or on a live account. And when it comes to the historical data of the broker, how important it is when trading with expert advisors and when backtesting expert advisors.
Yeah, when you trade, we actually trade on the platform we're using. It doesn't matter if it's MetaTrader or other. For algo trading, of course, it's MetaTrader. And we trade on the data the brokers provide. But when you do backtesting, generally we need better data, because the problem can be missing bars, to have a hole in the data, and also missing spreads. What happened, MetaTrader 4 doesn't provide a live spread. It has a fixed spread. Usually you use 10 pips or 20 pips. It depends on the market. But MetaTrader 5 has a real spread in the historical data. So it is much better to backtest on MetaTrader 5. But anyway, it doesn't matter which data we use for backtesting. It's always advisable to retest the strategy on the actual broker we're going to trade, because it may have a difference.
So to go back here to EA Studio, it's not only that it's faster, it's not only that it trades on the opening of the bar, it allows you to import back historical data from different brokers like 8cap and the others we use. And you say that it is best to generate EAs on the historical data of the broker where we'll be trading, right?
Yeah, we have to test the strategy on the data on the broker, but we can use a different broker for backtesting, different data feed, and then to make cross validation. So if a strategy works on data from two brokers and it makes good performance, usually the strategy, we may say it's more robust.
Right. So
it's called multi-market testing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is better to have a strategy that will perform profitably on a few different brokers. And is it still advisable when people export the strategy or the expert advisor from EA Studio still to backtest it on MetaTrader? But it's not necessary because the backtests match.
Yeah, no, it is good to backtest in MetaTrader.
Okay.
It may have some reasons to show different backtest. For example, the starting of the backtest may be different, and there is a factor called order flow. If the strategy has consecutive positions, for example, if the strategy changes long position to short positions, the complete test depends from where the testing starts. And when we test on our broker, you usually start testing from the beginning of the historical data, but has also other purposes. The time zone. The trading volume may be different, the dynamic, the volatility can be different. So I always advise my users to test the strategy on the broker they are going to trade. For example, the broker may have this stop period in the midnight for trading, usually around midnight for swap calculations, and if the strategy opens at midnight, it will work in the backtest, but it will not work on the broker we're going to trade. So
but EA Studio allows you actually to exclude these hours, right? So you can say stop trading at 11 p.m. and start trading at 1 a.m. So we skip that missing data from the broker.
Actually, this filter exactly prevents the strategy for opening new positions, but doesn't prevent closing, because if you have stop loss and take profit, it actually works. It is not so important when you use a shorter time frame, for example 15 minutes or 30 minutes, but I still don't advise the traders to trade on day one time frame, because on day one the position will open at midnight, and some brokers don't allow opening at midnight.
And then the spreads are high on the opening.
This is connected with the historical data you mentioned. The benefit of using EA Studio is that it already has several data feeds, and 8CAP is one of these feeds. And recently, you know very well, we found that the 8CAP data are more reliable than the data used before for backtesting, because they have more complete bars. So what we do usually, we generate strategies on 8CAP or on premium data feed, which is coming from Dukascopy. And it is not necessary to import data from your broker. Just you can generate on data we have in EA Studio to export the strategies and test in the MetaTrader tester for your broker. But if you want, you can export data from MetaTrader and import in EA Studio.
And probably the traders who are using EA Studio nowadays don't realize a lot of the features, but I remember before we had to upload daily the data ourselves, but then you made the ongoing upload, so daily new data is uploading on EA Studio, which is great because this saves us the time to upload ourselves, to export from MetaTrader and to import in EA Studio. Now in EA Studio there are a few brokers, a few historical data that we can use, which is great. And in this point, can you tell us more how the testing actually works?
This is a great topic, and actually this is the reason I did everything what we have now, just for me to understand how it works. And as I said in the beginning of our talk, we can trade manually. But if you trade manually, we are not sure if our strategy, because it's a strategy, if it works or not. So it will take some time and will make loss or let's make profit. It will be better. But the algo trading allows us to test the strategy on the historical data, and even we can test our strategy on future data, the data that the strategy never seen. It's called out of sample. But how I developed this testing algorithm, actually I did it exactly how I trade. I have some entry rule, and also additional filters to open position and other rules for closing the position. And when you come to that, we talk that we have a market price. But I mostly trade Forex because the swaps, the spreads are lower and it's easier and faster to trade.
Okay.
But actually, I think we cannot speak for the Forex trading as a price, because I think prices when you buy something, for example, t-shirt from the market. Yeah, but for the Forex trading, we have two currencies and we have a rate, one currency against the other. So we actually exchange one currency to other and then exchange back. Exactly. And when I found that, it was 20 years ago, I decided to make the strategies absolutely symmetrical. Before, I was reading, the traders had to set trading rules for long position and trading rules for short position. But what is the purpose? I decided the strategies to be symmetrical, and that's why in our tools, FSB Pro and AI Studio, we set only one position, and the strategy automatically trades the opposite mirrored rules. Okay. Not for every indicators, because for some indicators, for example, ADX, the signal is valid for the long and for short position. But this is something very important. The rules for short are the same as the rules for long position.
Okay.
Another rule is to be difficult to enter to position and easy to go out, to close. That's why when you have several indicators in the trading strategy, all indicators must agree for entering. It is like a vote. Imagine we have several traders and each trader has a different opinion about the market. If two of the three traders say we buy, but the other traders is not sure or to say to sell, we are not trading. In our strategies trade only when all entry conditions are agreed in one of the directions. And even it's possible to have rules for trading in both directions. I call that ambiguous orders. So the strategy doesn't trade such signals. So if you have 2 or 3 indicators for entry, the strategy will open when all of these indicators are agreed in one of the directions and only one of the direction. But for the exiting of the position is the opposite. If you have several indicators, even if only one indicator gives a signal for closing, we'll close.
It's time to exit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And from your experience, can you say how many entry indicators one should use, or there is no a specific rule? Because we've seen strategies that perform really well only with one indicator, and we've seen strategies that perform well with 3 and 4 entries indicator. Is there a golden middle for this, or it depends on the strategy?
It is one indicator, yeah, because it has to give the signal. Usually I see in the indicators there's 2 rows. The first one is the actual signal, and the other indicators give confirmation for this signal. So we can have 2 trading rules: concrete rule or concrete event which happen in one time. For example, moving average crossover.
Process.
Yeah. Exactly. Or one indicator crosses some level or changes the direction. Other rules are continuous rules. For example, the price is above moving average or moving average rises.
Okay.
So usually, and this is what AI Studio is doing, that we have, normally it is the first indicator, has a concrete rule.
Okay.
Moving average crossover, and we have 1, 2 or 3 indicators other which just confirm this signal.
Okay, so the testing is actually you're looking at the historical price statistically, and for the many times the price crossed or the indicator crossed and there was a confirmation, you conclude if the strategy was profitable or if it was losing. Is that the testing?
The generator is doing different combinations of indicators and calculates the final profit, let's say.
Okay.
One of the most metric is the profit, of course. And when it's doing these combinations, it tries to make the highest possible profit, taking into account additional conditions, for example, maximum drawdown or maximum consecutive losing trades. What actually happens is that the generator is searching for a pattern. And we also have rules to have a minimum count of trades. Let's say 100, minimum 100 trades. Also, the robot always trades equilogical rule for each entry. The logical rules are the same. So if you make 200 trades, all these 200 trades have the same rules for long position and the same rules for short positions. So actually this is a concrete pattern. And if a generator finds that this pattern is good, it plots a steady rising balance line which must be smooth without too much drawdowns.
Yeah.
If you see such a chart, it makes this strategy is good for the backtesting, because big problem is curve fitting.
Okay.
The generators are so powerful that they're capable to find patterns even where there is no patterns.
Yeah.
And that's why I always advise to make testing on the unseen data.
And the more powerful the generators became through the years, I noticed that they're capable of actually finding two good strategies, right? Like showing really perfect backtest, which might be dangerous as the strategy becomes over optimized. And you've mentioned the count of trades. That's something I've always pointed in my videos, how important it is to have more count of trades. In my opinion, the more times the event happened in the past, the more we can expect that it will repeat in the future, right? The more robust the strategy is. Because if it happened just 20 or 50 times in the last 5 years, we don't know if it will be profitable in the future. But if it happens 300 or even 500 times in the past and overall the strategy is profitable, we can expect that the strategy will continue being profitable in the future. Is that correct?
You are correct, yeah. The problem is that the more the strategy trades, the more cost of the trading is paying.
Okay.
So what is the cost of the trading? It is the spread.
The spread.
And also the commission.
Right.
And the commission must be taken into account. It depends. If you test in MetaTrader may not include the commission.
The commission, yeah, we've seen
in
this.
the back test. And then it can be applied if you start real trading. And you can have deviation between real trading. So the commission is very important.
Especially with the stocks we have seen, we have tested EAs that perform really well on the backtest, but in reality, they lose because the brokers put like $5 commission on both sides, which makes it nearly impossible to trade with EAs or even manually. It's just investing, right? That's the purpose of stocks, investing. That's why we don't put a lot of focus. We don't focus a lot of algo trading with stocks. And as you said, the Forex market is the most suitable because it's cheaper. Even with the crypto, Bitcoin became really popular in the last few years, but we see that the more profitable strategies and the ES we can generate are with Forex and with gold, because brokers offer low spreads with gold as well. And now mentioning the assets, can you suggest which currency pair the traders should generate strategies with? Which are the most suitable assets?
Of course, it is easy. When you run the generator, the faster it finds strategies, the more suitable this market is for algo trading.
Okay.
So some traders say, okay, I want to trade soybeans. Okay, good. Start the generator. If the generator generates strategies, it's okay. If the generator is not able to find strategies for this market, it means...
All right, so you mean if I generate strategies for euro dollar, for pound dollar, for gold, and for soybeans, the one that generates more strategies is the most suitable actually.
Exactly.
Right?
It's so easy.
Okay. Yeah. That makes it easy.
Excuse me, let's continue a little bit with EA Studio. Why you feel easy to trade EA Studio. And there is a concrete reason. EA Studio is specially designed to export expert advisors for MetaTrader.
Okay.
It's not like for a strategy builder. So EA Studio trades only at bar opening.
Right.
It exports expert advisors suitable for MetaTrader. It has automatic data feed, and it has a much optimized algorithm. And another important thing is when I created Forex Strategy Builder, I created to be able, exactly like a builder, to be able to create strategy manually and to test what I read in the books and what I trade. I found the generator, and it appeared that the generator is an additional tool that uses the indicators. In eStudio, each indicator has own generator, and it makes more meaningful entry exit rules and conditions and parameters for the indicators. So each indicator has own generator.
Okay. Can we say that FSB Pro is more suitable to build your own strategy, to automate a manual strategy, and EA Studio is for generating purposes.
Exactly, you're right.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Even the generator in Forex Strategy Builder is not capable to use all feature in the program that we can use manually. And also, I'm trying to make a better generator with a faster backtest. Not that now is not fast. I think it's the world fastest.
Yeah.
But I think I can make it even faster. And why this is useful? Because the faster the backtest is, the more robustness testing algorithms we can add. So instead of waiting 1 hour for generating, we can generate for 15 minutes, and to make Monte Carlo and the other robustness testing things and calculations to be sure the strategy is more suitable for trading. Because this is the biggest problem. Now we can generate strategies, but it's difficult to choose which strategy to use for actual trading.
And one last question, what keeps you motivated through the years? You've been developing strategy builders and generators and backtesters in the last 25 years, and now you're working on 3 new apps, and you're even launching one for free, like it will be available for everybody. What gives you the motivation to do that?
I may not say that I'm motivated. First, I am very happy the users finds the product useful, but I'm not very glad that I have to sell this product to the traders. That's why I decided to make free products. But more or less, I'm addicted to programming and to searching and researching. And this is, I'm working from 6 in the morning until midnight every day, and doing 2-3 stuff together in different programming languages, and always trying to find a better algorithm and better formula, and to be faster, to be more reliable, and more useful interface. So
so you're more of enjoying what you're doing rather than being motivated because of the business or because of the sales. And at the end of the podcast, we have the tradition to ask everybody a few questions with short answers, so it will be useful for the beginners. MetaTrader or TradingView?
MetaTrader for trading, TradingView for viewing the charts.
FSB Pro or EA Studio?
Both, but if you have to choose one, EA Studio.
One EA or many EAs in one account?
Many EAs. Many EAs, because one EA may fail. But if you have a portfolio of many EAs, we have a high chance to make profit in the end.
One or many indicators in one strategy?
Several indicators. MACD or RSI?
MACD,
because it's composed by moving averages. RSI is different.
Last one, trading or investing?
For fun, trading. For money, investing. Because you're doing this for fun, actually. In the end of the day, we are not professional traders. I'm doing that just for fun. And to enjoy trading.
Great answer. Thank you.